welcome to a Numi podcast. If you're new here, I'm really glad you found your way. If you've been here before, welcome back. Let's begin. Some life paths aren't chosen, they're revealed. Parenting a child with special needs can change how you see love, patience, strength, and possibility. Today, I'm sitting with Tia, who is sharing her experience as a mother of a son on the autism spectrum, not from a place of limitation, but from a lived reality, growth, and perspective. Tia, thanks for being here with me and telling us all about your journey.
Well, thank you, Belinda, for having me. I'm so excited to be here on your podcast, and I'm honored as well.
Oh, I'm so happy you're here. I was like, when you said yes, I wanted to cry. I'm like, yeah, she's here. So can you take us back to like earlier days when did you first sense that your sons experienced the world differently?
Well, honestly, to start, I am
Yeah,
the oldest
everything.
of nine children. So
Wow.
I'm the oldest. I have four brothers and four sisters.
Okay.
And so I was raised with my mother's children and my little brother, who's a 13-year difference.
Mm.
I was 13 years old when he was born. He always had difficulties with seizures, and I was always there to bring him out of the seizures, take him to therapy. So I think God was preparing me for my son later on. And so at 13, I got to witness my brother change colors, convulsions, seizures, stop breathing, all these things.
What?
So fast forward, when I was pregnant with John, nothing, no big deal. When he was born was when I noticed something was wrong because he was quite large. He was a big baby.
Okay.
And he came 4 days early. But Belinda, I don't have birthing hips. I have an athletic figure.
Mm.
So he wasn't coming out. And my doctor was on vacation when my son was time for him to be born, and I had the alternate doctor who had never seen me at all, and
Oh.
she did not know that I have difficulty delivering children. I had my daughter 2 years prior, and at 8 pounds I couldn't get her out. They had to go in and take her out by forceps.
Oh,
So when I
forceps.
had John, his head and shoulders was not coming out. And I was in labor for a long time, and she was, oh, don't worry, we're going to prove them wrong. The nurses who delivered my daughter remembered me and knew I was in trouble with my son and kept pacing the floor saying, Doctor, should we prep her? Doctor, should we prep her? No, 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 she's fine. We're going to prove them wrong. And the epidural wore off,
Oh
and
my
I was in
God.
pain. And I'm like, she was, well, I'm sorry, we can't give you any more right now. And so fast forward, they numbed the anesthesiologist, they couldn't find him. So because he was turning purple, blue, coming out, she had to cut me to ABC to get him out. When she pulled him out, she almost dropped him because he was 10 pounds and he wasn't breathing. He was in my birth canal too long and he was suffocating. So the trauma team came in and burst the doors. I remember the doors bursting open, and I hear the nurse go, to the back, to the back, to the back. And they said code. I don't remember the code. It was a code for a code blue for the baby.
Right.
And within about a minute, I heard him cry. They got him breathing. But he had other issues, other problems. He had jaundice, severe jaundice.
Yeah.
And they said, well, you're going to have to take him to this doctor to check out his eyes because I threw up bile before. So something was going on inside.
Right.
And so they think he may have gotten bile in his eyes through the birthing canal with all that
Oh.
was going on. And so when I went to the eye doctor, he goes, okay, mom, take him, crisscross his arms, hold him, and hold his head still, and don't let him move. I have to clamp his eyes to put these drops in. It's very painful, so make sure he doesn't move. I'm like, okay. So I got one arm, I'm holding him, and I'm holding him back, and the man clamps his eyes with these metal little clamps, and he put eye drops in both eyes. Belinda, he didn't say anything. He didn't cry. He didn't whimper. Nothing. And I said, oh, he's such a good baby. Doctor goes, no, that's not good. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, he should be crying hysterical because the clamps hurt and the drops burn. He should be screaming. And I said, well, what does that mean? He goes, that's a neurological disconnect. Once the eyes clear up, you need to go have him checked out. That was my first clue something wasn't right with my son neurologically. Physically, he was a beautiful baby. Gerber baby, perfectly round, handsome, perfect baby on the outside.
Right. Wow. So, what was that realization like for you as a parent? Like when you found out for real, like how
It
did you
did,
find out? When did you find out?
it wasn't right away. The system here is so broken. I had gone to my doctor, my pediatrician. He was my siblings' pediatrician. So I totally trusted them, this facility, for years because I've been going there with all my siblings. And then I had my kids. So my folder was like this big. My chart was
Right.
this big with the family folder. So I
Yeah.
asked him, I said, could you separate, my siblings folder from my family folder so that you don't have this, ginormous folder
Yeah.
and get confused with that family.
Right.
But so I would complain every visit that my son was too good. He wasn't crying. He wasn't meeting the milestones. Oh, mom, boys are slower than girls. You have a daughter. Don't worry. You have a healthy baby boy. He's fine. Every single visit I missed. I didn't miss a visit. I didn't miss a milestone. I didn't miss any of the shots. When he became 3, he still wasn't making any of the milestones. So I said to the doctor, okay, now he's 2, what now? So he had to go do an MRI for brain activity. We did EKG, all kinds of tests on him, came back normal. Normal brain function, normal. So they think I'm just crazy complaining that something's wrong with my son.
Right.
So when he hit 3, he wasn't hitting the milestones of a 3-year-old. He wasn't talking yet. He was just a good baby. The only time he cried is when he wanted hungry or in his diaper. That was
Right.
it. He would watch Barney all day long and sit in the chair and did not move, didn't roll over, nothing. So finally, I went to the doctor and I went to the Dan Marino Center in Weston, and for a year, from 2 to 3, for a year, trying to get a diagnosis, trying to find out what's wrong. But because he didn't have the typical behaviors of
Right.
someone with autism, he was too good. He didn't mind affection. He didn't mind
Right.
playing with others. Even though he was nonverbal, he would play with my daughter's Barbie dolls. He liked Barbie dolls. They were blonde, right?
Right.
The doctor came in, and she was an older blonde lady.
Uh-huh.
He looked up at her
He was in
and was
love.
like, she's
A big
alive. Like
Barbie.
Barbie's alive. And he was just like so amazed. I had never seen him like so
Fascinated.
fascinated with a human. And
Yeah.
he touched her hair. It was blonde hair, and he just touched her face. And she goes, "Oh my God!" I said, "What is he doing?" I said, "Oh my God, you're a live Barbie. He likes my daughter's Barbies. You're
Yeah.
the first blonde he's ever met." And she started laughing.
Uh-huh.
But from that point on, for 1 full year, I did not get a diagnosis. So finally, someone came down from the state and says, "No, ma'am, you've been coming here for a year. How can we help?" I said, "I need a diagnosis for my kid. He can't receive any therapy or nothing without a diagnosis. He's not speaking, doesn't meet the milestones. He needs OT, PT. He should have had it from birth." And okay, ma'am. So he came back with a letter. Here you go. We gave your son autism. So from that point on, I was able to go get him therapy, but he was behind because for 3 years they wasn't listening to me.
God, how annoying. That's insane. So
You,
when they told you he had autism, you had already figured it out, or so it wasn't a surprise, or was it a surprise when he told you, or
I
how?
said, "What is that?" I
Uh-huh.
had never heard of autism. I'm
Right.
like, what does that mean?
Right.
And they said that it's a neurological disconnect in the brain, a neurological disorder, and everyone's different. There's no two alike, and boys are more prevalent than girls. And I believe back then it was a higher number, like 1 in 200 or 290, something like that. I don't remember. It's been a long time.
Uh-huh.
But I was like, oh, well, lucky me. you know That's what I'm thinking. Look,
You're a lotto winner, girl. You should have played
man,
lotto.
I did win love though. My son's
Yes.
amazing. So now I know. I thank
Yes.
God that He entrusted me with him because he's
Yes.
so phenomenal.
He is a
Yeah.
good kid. He definitely is amazing. Parents often talk about holding many emotions at once: love, fear, determination, and certainty, right? What were some of the emotions you had to work through early on?
There was a lot of processing going on because I remember I had a stepdaughter, I had my daughter, so I had two kids at home plus him, and I am trying to figure out, is there something that I did during the pregnancy that was different? Did I eat something wrong? I mean, I had different what do you say? I had different cravings
Cravings?
with each pregnancy.
Okay, give me a craving, because girl,
Okay.
I had the grossest one yet. Tell me which one. Tell me what yours was.
So
I'll tell you mine.
my daughter, I could not stand the smell of meat. Meat
Okay.
just turned me off completely. So I think I was pretty much like a pescatarian for my pregnancy with her. Him, I wanted whoppers. I wanted meat. I wanted beef. Just the opposite. My nose was like ginormous. So I gained 50 pounds with him because all I wanted to do was I was hungry all the time.
Mhm.
So that was just one of the things that, I noticed in the pregnancy was the dietary, differences because I
Right.
craved more unhealthy things with him.
So you
But
were blaming yourself then.
I just it was a reflection like
Yeah.
comparing pregnancies with
Yeah.
her with him, what I
Yeah.
ate, what I did,
Yeah.
why did I gain so much weight and different things. And you really process, well, does it run in my family? Does
Yeah.
any of my anyone in my family have this autism diagnosis? Really, what is this? How do I fix it? In my mind as a mom, how do I fix it?
Yeah.
I'm not going to be here forever. How do I help him function in this world without me? That was my thought. That was my emotion.
Yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense. So much sense. Were there moments that you just felt overwhelmed or unsure how to move forward?
Absolutely. I mean, at the time I was married with a husband that, did not really, was not involved with the kids. So all of the kids' activities, homeworks, therapies, diagnoses, trying to find out everything else, plus working a full-time job, I was very overwhelmed, stressed, cried, asking, how can I, not neglect my other kids because all my time and focus is on him. I've got to come home from work, take him to therapy 5 days a week because to me, in my mind, I'm making up for lost time. He should have been in therapy from the time he was born or 3 months old. And
Right.
so I'm trying to get him caught up to speed because I know kids are cruel,
Yeah.
and him being nonverbal and not knowing how to communicate with him, I was frustrated. I cried a
Right.
lot because I didn't know how to communicate. He did a lot of stimming, a lot of rocking. The girls want nothing to do with him because they couldn't communicate with him. And
Right.
then my ex-husband was not there for me at all or the children. Like
Right.
he really rejected him because he was broken in his mind. So I really had to say, bump this marriage, bump him, and really dive into my children and find out, how do I fix my son? When I say fix, meaning how do I help him help himself?
Yeah.
Because those words can be construed, right? But
Right.
that's what I meant. How can I help him help himself if I'm not here and the world is cruel and I can't expect my kids to take care of their brother. It's just one of those things that
Yeah.
you as a mother want to protect. So I
Yeah.
had a lot of emotions, of a lot of depressed moments, a lot of overwhelming moments, but I really didn't have time to think about myself. I had to really just deep dive into the kids.
Right. I get it. So how did you learn to advocate for your son, like in schools and social settings and the world at large?
Well, so I was blessed to find all the teachers he had in elementary, pre-K, loved him as much as I did. And so he was blessed to have a team of women that saw his little angel face and heart and demeanor and was determined to help him communicate and get in there, because
Right.
he was the only one in class that didn't communicate. He was the only one in class that was nonverbal. So, and back then, I would say in 2003 was when ABA therapy was introduced. And the young lady that was his teacher, she was like one of the first in Florida to really bring this to South Florida.
Wow.
And I saw the difference with him with ABA and her.
Is he?
It's a I don't remember the acronym, something behavior analysis. It's called ABA therapy. But what it does is it helps them. It's a reward system. Like, it helps them, makes them ask for things and not get frustrated per se. So, for instance, him being nonverbal, I would know what he wants.
Is he still nonverbal?
No,
No.
no, he talks now.
No, I was
He
gonna
started
say,
talking at 10. 10 he
yeah,
started
'cause I was like,
talking.
I remember him talking when I met him.
But he was 10 when the modeling started, so that's why.
Okay.
So
Okay.
he started talking at 7.
Uh-huh.
And so the teachers, she goes, well, I said, I don't want him to be left out of the homework in class. So how do I help him? She goes, we're going to do sign language and we're going to do PECs. And I'm like, what's PECs? And it was a picture education center type thing is called. And you give him choices and pictures. So say it's food, right? At lunchtime, they were going to have sandwich, pizza, apple juice, orange juice, grapes, and say, like, fish.
Mhm.
With the pictures of lunch that day, she'd have a board for him to go pick on the board
What he
and
wanted.
what he wanted.
That's
And
awesome.
that reduced the frustration on his part and
100%.
hers. Okay, you want pizza with grapes and apple juice, and he
Awesome.
would he would sign yes, and so, or he would put off the words yes, and so she would set him up, and then she taught him how to, okay, when you finish, take your tray, put it in the trash, the trash,
Yeah.
put your tray up there, and wait for your next station. So what she did, she created stations for all the kids, but he was so perceptive and didn't want to be left out or felt different. He kind of fell in line following the other kids.
That's Montessori structure.
So
That's
I
my
was like,
Montessori.
yes.
Yeah.
So when she showed me he understood more than he was getting me at home, oh, it was over for him. Over. Because I had the girls, literally, we had a bench outside in the garage, and we had the shoes, and he was like the kingpin, arms back, feet out, and have the girls tie his shoes.
Oh,
And then
no.
we would go get in the car and leave. And one day I said, I'm taking your little butt to therapy 6 days a week, and they're teaching you how to tie your shoes. You gotta learn how to tie your shoes,
Yeah.
especially since the lady showed me that he understands. I said,
Yeah.
"Oh, I got you now." So one day, I started waking him up an hour early before everybody else because he moves very slow.
Uh-huh.
I said, "Well, I'm gonna get you up early, get you ready, so you can go outside and start working on your shoes while everybody else is getting dressed." Well, he decided he wasn't gonna do that, and so I told the girls, "Don't help him. Everybody in the car. It's time to go." Mind you, I had a half an hour window.
Right, right, right.
And so they look at me like, "What do you mean don't help? Girls, don't help him get in the car? We're going to leave him. He's in therapy for tying his shoes, and he's going to tie his shoes." And so he looked at me like, he threw a fit. I said, "Okay." I said, "All right, it's time to go." I hit the garage clicker, and the
Uh-huh.
garage goes down, and he freaks out. Ah! I said, "Oh, are you going to tie your shoes now?" He bent over. Ma'am, he tied his shoes.
No,
Tied
stop.
his shoes. So that told me
Some
he
thumbs up
understood.
right there.
So I
Yep.
was like, your days are done, sir. The days of catering to you are over." So I said, "Girls, do not help him." So that was the start
Stay
of me
independent.
understanding my son, thanks to his teacher who showed me how he works.
Right. So that's something that you learned along the way that he was playing you.
Absolutely, as most kids do. Here I am having a bleeding heart, thinking, "Oh, the poor soul. He can't communicate. He can't tell what's wrong. He keeps
Lies.
screaming. He's throwing fits." And I'm like, "Well, what do you want?" And he's going, "Ugh." And so now I'm like, "Oh." So then we created a whole picture board, and we did sign language, and so she allowed me. They had a double glass window
Yeah.
in the classroom. So she invited me to watch him, but he didn't know I was there.
Yeah.
And I got to watch him for about half an hour. And I was so amazed of what a different kid he was in school than
Yep.
he was at home.
Yep.
And I'm like, this little booger understands.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Well, now, sir, it's over for you. So that's when I decided to
Out
make
of the
him be
bag.
independent. Yes, you
Mhm.
were learning to do things for yourself, and I started
That's
at three and a
awesome.
half.
That's freaking amazing. I love that. I do because you gifted him. You know,
I
he.
released the family. I released all of us
Yeah.
because, he. So honestly, my mom having five kids and my little brother, I told you he had seizures and things
Yeah.
the first year of life, so he was delayed in development,
Right.
mental and everything. So he also was going to speech therapy and different things when I was taking him at 13, 14 years old, and I said, Mom, how did you do it? How did you take care of five kids, one being special needs? How did you do it? Like I have to spoon feed him, make lunch, do homework. She goes, no, you don't. I said, what you mean? She goes, he's hungry. He's gonna figure it out.
True.
She goes, if he makes a mess, you pad the floor with trash bags. You pad the wall. You give him the spoon. You show him how to eat, and you walk away. Let him figure it out, and you go cook and do what you gotta do. And the worst scenario is you have to clean up a big mess. But
Right.
he's gonna eat because he's hungry.
Yeah.
And that was the best advice my mother ever gave me is to let him be. Let him figure it out.
That's amazing. What are some of the strengths or qualities your son has that you think that people often overlook?
The biggest challenge with autistic persons is that they look normal. Their disability is not on the outside, it is hidden. So when you see him, you see this handsome, tall young man, and then when you have a conversation, it's like, wait, there's something disconnected there because he has to process his words, and then there's not a
Delay.
conversation. It's a rehearsed conversation, meaning, how are you? I'm fine. How are you? I'm good. What's your name? I'm John. What's your name?
Yeah.
So it's rehearsed from school and
Yeah.
therapy for the past, 10 years.
Yeah.
So it doesn't go beyond that. So if you ask him an in-depth question, you may not get what you're looking for. For example, he and his father went on an inaugural trip on Delta. And they were the first off the aircraft. And there was TV crews there. And he loves the limelight, loves the spotlight, and the camera loves him. So when the reporter put the camera into his face and said, hey, how was your first flight? It was good. Well, what was it like? It was nice. And this, and the guy's like, oh, okay. They're looking for more of a
Well, right.
combination dialect, more description. And when he realized there was a disconnect, he moved to the father and asked him about the inaugural flight.
Right.
So being as a hidden disability is the biggest frustration because people don't understand he is a walking, I don't want to say baby, but he's undeveloped in his years. So
Right.
even though he has a body of a 25-year-old man, mentally he's probably at 12 or 13.
Right.
So, and people don't understand that. So he may be shoved or pushed or bullied because he's not functioning at an adult level.
Right. Right. He just processes things differently. That doesn't matter about adult level or not. He's just different. He speaks a
I
different
say he's
language.
delayed because
Yeah.
Belinda, now, some of the stuff he does and say, I'm
Girl,
like,
I
sir,
feel
sir, now he is very particular what he wears. He knows he's a model, and he's like, no, I'm not wearing that. Excuse me?
it.
Since when did you have a opinion about your clothes?
Yeah.
Girl, now
He knows who he
um,
is. It's
he
so
knows what he wants, who he is, and he knows he looks good.
and does that surprise you?
Well, no, but you pray for things and it comes to fruition. Like, oh my God, Lord, I pray for him to speak, not talk back. I pray for
Right.
him to
Oh,
speak.
you can't
I
pick
I
and
pray for him
choose.
to talk, not lie to me, ma'am, sir. So it's all the things that come with teenagers in it. So now I would say, even though he's 25, he's in that teenage stage of
Yeah.
rebellion.
17. Oh my God.
Yes, he's
I'll
in
pray
that
again,
teenage
girl.
stage of rebellion where he'll do it when he gets to it.
Mm,
So I have to learn, okay, you know what? I'm gonna tell you I need to do ABC 1, 2, 3. When I come back in 3 hours, it needs to be done. Okay, it takes him
mm,
about 3 to 4 hours to complete his task.
right.
When I come back, it's done. You know why? He
There
did
you
it
go.
at his time. And so he's not frustrated, I'm not frustrated, and the task got done. Which
There you
would
go.
be wash the dishes, I come home, sink needs to be clean, please. Clean the bathtub,
Hmm.
you know, and it will get done on his timing. But
So what how every parent like finds their own way to keep things going as you did. So what helped you stay grounded during those more challenging moments?
I promise you, first I'm gonna say God. I had to hit my Bible and read and talk to him because with this situation I had no one else to really go to. And my girlfriends did not have special needs children,
Right.
so that was my first I would say help session.
Yes.
And then when I was at work one day, I was going through a lot of emotional things, starting my divorce proceedings, and I was in between jobs, and I met Kim, who is now my backstage manager. She has a daughter that has Down syndrome.
I
So,
remember Kim. Okay. All right.
yes, yes,
Uh-huh.
yes, yes. So, her and I clicked, and her daughter was older than my son, so she was able to give me a lot of insight of what to do. And so she became my coach per se because she was already years ahead of me in the disability world.
Right.
Even though her daughter's disability was different than mine, it's still in the same umbrella. It's
Yeah.
still the same challenges. Still going to the county, the city, the school system to get help for our children. So she was a great support system for me as a mom with a disabled child to
Yeah.
kind of guide me through the system and show me what to do, what programs to look for, what programs to join, and the processes. And
Yeah.
so that was the catalyst that kind of helped me move forward.
That's amazing. You said you prayed. Well, God helped you, and He sent you somebody to help you out.
He did.
Was their support that truly made a difference, hers, or something you wished more people understood?
I wish more people understood a mother's struggle or a family struggle. My biggest frustration was family and friends who did not have a child like John did not understand my challenges, didn't understand why I did things a certain way, didn't understand why his room had locks. We had a gate at his bedroom door, so he
Yeah.
couldn't escape and go outside and walk down the street. We
Right.
had a lot of mechanisms and things in place because of his disability. If he ran down the street or escaped, he is nonverbal. Anything could happen to him,
Yeah.
and so we had to embrace, there's the swimming schools and different things, so that we equipped all of our kids to be able to handle situations, but also making them aware of their brother, making
Right.
them aware of his limitations, because kids, they forget he's just this, he's special needs. They forget because they have their own language. And so
Right.
my biggest frustration was getting family and friends to understand our family dynamics being different because he looked normal. He was still in a baby stroller, with his brother at 5 and 3. Why? Because I had to control 4 kids, age 5, 3, 4, and 2.
I
You
get it.
know, and he could be a runner. So it's instead of questioning why is this big boy in a stroller or still in the diaper, you know, ask how can I help? I noticed XYZ, how can I help you? Maybe
Right.
I can guide you in something, what you're going through.
Yeah.
And it's hard. It's
Yeah.
hard to find people to understand and sympathize with you.
Yeah, I understand. I get it. Like I remember because I was married before, so he came with 3 kids. So I was taking care of 4 and then 5. And
Yes.
it was hard. And I can't even imagine how much more difficult it had to be to have a special needs kid because it's just having that many kids in general is hard.
But then also too, you feel bad because you're neglecting the olders
Yeah.
because you have to focus on this one. And
Yeah.
then when his little brother came 18 months later, that was another like, oh wow, I
Yeah.
didn't even see him coming. But
Right.
he was actually a blessing to John because he had another male counterpart to play with and also learn from. So George
Right.
was a little big brother in a sense, and they
Yes.
kind of met milestones together.
Yes. That's awesome. That's I love that. So how has being your son's mom shaped who you are today?
Oh
And
my
let me
goodness.
answer that. Let me answer that question because I know the answer. And so this my second question is gonna go with the first question. Okay. So first question. How has being your son's mom shaped who you are today? And did it change how you define success, happiness, or progress? Go.
Okay, so when you are a young adult and you're trying to navigate through life, you're trying to find your purpose. Lord, what's my purpose? And John actually helped me find my purpose. And how did he do that? Because being his advocate, I was fighting for him and parents to know what resources can I find for him to function, what resources are there for me as a parent to know what he deserves and what he can get as a child with special needs in the system. And so I had to really deep dive in myself, and I found out I was much stronger than I ever knew because I really did not know what being weak was because I was never allowed to be weak. I'm the oldest of nine. I've had to always be an adult as a young person, be responsible. So when John's diagnosis came about and I understood what autism was, I got into therapies, met parents, saw other parents' challenges, really started to appreciate my challenges, you know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
it wasn't this one or that one.
Yeah.
And when I started to own my family dynamics and understand John, when I understood him and learned his personality, it it was amazing because John talked one night. I was giving him a set of vitamins for a month straight, and he started to echo words. And the teachers called me in tears, Tia, 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 listen to your son. It was on the recording, and all the teachers are crying because he echoed her name with,
Oh my
the
God.
core E, core E.
Oh
And
my God.
so I would always pray with him every single night and say, now lay me down to sleep. I pray, Lord, so to keep. And I go all the way down to God bless family and end with God bless me. So one night, I'm saying the prayers with him, and he cuts me off and he goes, God bless mommy. And I said, what? And he smiled with the biggest grin. And I said, oh my God. I said, you understood me all these years? You heard me? He goes, yes. Because all these years he was stimming, he was rocking, he was not no eye contact, he looking at the ceiling, and I'm talking to him, and I'm saying different things, but he said, yes, I heard you, yes, and I cried for hours. I think when I realized all my work had not been in vain. And so fast forward to he was 7. I'm sorry, fast forward he was 10 because he talked at 7. At 10, I was teaching my daughter Brianna how to walk in heels, so helping her practice for a pageant. And he comes out the room and says, "Mommy, me model, me pose." I'm like, "What? You're in there playing, you're on the computer. How do you know what we're doing out here?" So
Uh-huh.
in his perception, he came out. I said, "Come here, go walk. Let me see what you're doing." He mimicked me and my daughter, tiptoes and all, like he's in heels, hands on his shoulder, and he walked out like a model. I said, "Oh my God." I said, because I just prayed a week prior. So God, what's my purpose? I just won Miss Florida Plus America,
Yeah,
2000.
that we didn't even touch on that, by
But
the
I just,
way.
but you asked about the purpose.
Yeah.
That gave me my purpose. John said, "Mom, me, model me, pose." And I had just won the pageant title, and I felt like I was being wasted because I didn't know the purpose of God giving me this title. And
Right.
so John goes, "Mommy, me, model me, pose." And so I was like, "Okay." I said, "You know what? I'm a girl, and Brianna's a girl. We don't know how to boys model. So go on the computer on YouTube, and go study for an hour and come back." Belinda, he came back and he nailed it. He nailed the model walk of a guy. That's how No Limits was born. Because John gave me my purpose. Everyone has purpose is my tagline. So that's why I say he was a blessing to me, a gift to me from God, because he helped me define who I am as a woman, as a mom, as an advocate, and as a person giving purpose and paving the way for other moms to see their children are gifts.
Yeah.
And it's up to us as parents to discover those gifts and cultivate them to the world.
Right. I get it. And now my face is all over the place now. Thanks. um. Okay. What has your son taught you that you might not have learned otherwise?
Patience. Undeniable patience. And also the strength of human strength, inner strength, the desire to learn, the desire to fit in, also the person's independent personality. Like, there's so much we can learn from our children in the special needs realm and world. What I've learned from these young adults and children is that they are authentically themselves. Love me or leave me. They don't care what you think. They don't care what no one else thinks. They're going to be enjoy themselves and have a good time doing it. And if you don't like it, don't look. And if
There you
I
go.
can embrace that from my son, the confidence that he has in himself and in the world, he embraces the spotlight. He embraces the camera. He knows he's handsome. And so I said, I can just bottle that I don't care attitude, I would be so different.
Right? All of
but
us.
but
Yeah.
that's what I've learned is they are authentic to themselves, and they have no apologies for it.
I love that. And they shouldn't. None of us should.
Correct.
So you have to do me a favor and tell everybody all about you a little bit because I wanted them to know everything about your son, and we're going to keep talking about him. But I want you to tell everybody about Miss Tia Frost and how amazing Miss Tia Frost is. Besides the fact that you're an amazing mom, and I've witnessed that, I've also witnessed you doing some other really cool shit. So what is it?
Well, again, John gave me that passion and purpose and opened up Pandora's box of my creativity.
I love that name, Pandora. I wanted to change my name to Pandora. I think I love that
Oh, I think Pandora. Pandora sounds naughty, but anyway. So, but yeah. So, I come from an creative artistic family. You know, um, in high school, I got a full scholarship to the Art Institute of Fort Lauderdale. Well, I learned some fashion. I did advertising design. I learned a lot about colors, photography. Because advertising design, you do a little bit of everything. Merchandising, photography, color pattern, color palettes, drawing, everything. Which I still came out of school, still had no idea what I wanted to do, and I fell into cosmetic school, beauty school, massage school, and I said, I get bored easy, so let me just do both and see what I gravitate towards, and I did both, and so for me, makeup was paint, and that's how I correlated from school, so I was able to put two and two together. I became a makeup artist. And volunteering to do a lot of fashion shows and things to learn behind the scenes. I did massage therapy and still do massage therapy, and that's been something that's also helped me through life. And when I went to find my passion and purpose through my kids, it led into, I fell into modeling at 40 years old. I was discovered at the airport, and as a plus size model. I was freshly divorced, wasn't trying to see nobody, hear nobody, especially about no modeling in Miami. Oh, everyone's a talent scout. Everybody wants to sign you up, and here I am, a size 20, not feeling pretty at all because I'm coming
Meanwhile,
off a
you're
divorce.
freaking, you were gorgeous.
But
Gorgeous.
to me, coming
Uh,
in from a size 12 to a 20,
yeah.
we're not feeling that. You're going through a divorce, you're going through emotions, you're going through a lot, right? So to be stopped and asked to model for a plus size troupe that was groundbreaking at the time was like, okay, what do I have to lose? I tried modeling at Glamazon, in 1990,
Oh, you
aging
remember that
myself.
Glamazon?
But yeah, I did that back in 1990, and I was still too big industry standard at size 10, a walking pogo stick. But hey, that wasn't my time, right? So fast forward when I'm discovered at the age of 40 to model, that was the catalyst that led into what I do now. So I won my first modeling competition against senior models, which was crazy, and then that contest led me to a young lady who was Miss Florida Plus America at that time. I had never heard of it, but I embraced her and was showing her the ropes behind the scenes of the modeling industry because she was new, but the girls were not. They were cliquish. They didn't
Yeah.
embrace her and see that she was new.
Right.
And she goes, "You would make a great pageant queen because you're so authentic and you're so sweet." And I said, "Oh, I said, at this age, what am I doing being a pageant queen? That's for teenage girls." And she goes, "Honey, I'm not no teenager, but this is a platform and this, that, and the other." And so I said, "Okay, what do I have to lose?" And I won with no training. I take that back. My mother was my trainer. My mother taught me to be a lady from day one, to always cross your legs, always sit like a lady. My mother was my biggest coach. Okay, and that her ways taught me. And my mother loves fashion. My mother loves clothes, men's clothes, women's clothes. She always dressed me, so I think I was her muse. My mom is 5'3". Okay, I'm 5'11".
Oh, she
I,
tiny.
she's little, so I was her muse. So
Yeah.
whatever she put on me, I had to wear. So therefore, that was the beginning of, like, I guess, the fashion part of who I am, and volunteering. So the lady with the fashion shows, I was getting invited to participate in different fashion shows, but I also want to learn all facets of the industry. So, being my makeup artist, I would volunteer to do makeup on the models. Because back then, we all were starting out. Nobody had money. We're FIU fashion students and everything else. We all come together, and so I would volunteer and do makeup for the models on set. That led me networking, meeting fashion designers, meeting other people in the industry, hairstylists, and so on and so forth. So I started compiling my little list of people who I connected with. So when it was time for me as Miss Florida to produce my very first fashion show with the special needs kids, it was called Independence on the Runway, No Limits. I had 40 persons, 20 girls, 20 boys, and did not know what I was doing. But I called my friends, "Hey, I need help. This is my idea. I need help." And all the people that I volunteered for years before came to help me for my first one.
Of
So it
course.
was beautiful. It was so nice. And because I didn't know what I was doing, they made me look good. They
Yes.
made everything come together. And so from that first experience, I I have a blueprint that works for my special needs students in the fashion and modeling, and I include everybody. I don't care if you're in a wheelchair, if you're
I know.
amputee, if you're whatever you have. I'm gonna make it work where you're in every single scene
Yep.
like everybody else. If you need
Yeah.
more time, I'm gonna raffle off prizes. We're gonna talk. We're gonna do whatever until they're ready. And that's where Kim came into play because she became an amazing backstage manager for me as a parent and seeing her own child flourish and
Right.
loving becoming a model. And so one day in rehearsal, Tiffany was having a bad day. She was having a female moment and was emotional and crying.
Right.
I said, okay, we'll go sit down, get off my runway. And her mom was like, what? I was like, so I went in Tiffany's ear and I said, you are here because you want to model. Modeling is not easy. So either you suck it up, buttercup, or get off my runway because somebody will take your spot. And she did this. She goes,
Ah,
she
she
shook it
needed a
off.
come to Jesus moment.
She shook it off. And I said, you ready? She goes, and she came out and she killed it. And her mother goes, what did you say to Miss Tiffany? I said, that's me and Miss Tiffany. I said, but she performed, didn't she?
Yeah.
Okay. And so she's one of my stars. It's been 12 years. Tiffany is one of my starters and my closers.
Who's one of the I cannot remember her name, and we love Emma. It was it
Emma,
Emma.
yes.
Oh my God, Emma was amazing to watch. That girl loved being on that stage. She loved dancing and carrying on. She was great.
Christine, all of them. And
Yeah.
so when I tell you this, the joy you get, Belinda, being and watching them go from rehearsal to show day, they become butterflies in a cocoon that immerse on stage. Like
Yeah.
every time of show day is way more than what they rehearsed. Like they like are reserving that burst of fabulousness for the stage, but I realize the energy of the crowd gets them going.
Yeah.
The energy, so I can coach them all day, I can teach them all day how to model, how to pose, and bring out their essence. But girl, it is already there. I was just blessed enough to bring it out. And by removing the parents from rehearsal, removing the parents from behind the stage that day, they flourish. And the
Yeah.
mom's like, I didn't know he can do that. I didn't know she can do that. Well, because you're covering them. I let them be free. I bring out who they are. And once that is unleashed, mercy, we get all kinds of
Yeah, you
goodness
do.
on the runway. And
Yeah, you
I love it.
do.
I love it. And that's what drives me to do this every single year. It's not the money because there is no money. It
Yeah.
is bringing them and giving them their dream.
Yeah.
And so and now I've gotten it where my troupe is so trained that they can go to a professional industry and have their model bag, have their comp cards, and know what to do. They don't complain. They wear what the designer tells them what to wear, and they know to hang their clothes back up respectively. They know the industry, and that's the skill that I want them to have. And a lot of the kids have gotten paid gigs. They've been in Times Square. They've been on magazines. They have been featured on Lay's Trips with me. It's been a lovely roller coaster of unexpected events leading to greatness.
I love it. You're amazing. Okay, speechless. So, if you could speak to a parent who has just received an autism diagnosis for their child, what would you want them to know?
Advocate for your child. Pay attention to your child. You know your baby the best. No matter what doctor tells you, you find another doctor. If you know that your child is delayed, is not getting the treatment they need, or that you want, you find another doctor. I've learned that doctors, they see so many children, I think they get lost in the sauce and miss the little things. So, and they kind of ignore the mom's plea and cry because they see so many moms. And so, therefore, be your child's advocate. Go to all the meetings, ask questions, ask other moms, and get all the information you can in your county and your city and give your family the resources they deserve.
You're amazing. Tia, basically, what stands out in your story is not strength, it's clarity. You know, you don't speak from fear or limitations, but from understanding your child as a whole human being, which is what you've said this entire time. Thank you for sharing that perspective with us. Really, I know that everything you've said, if it's going to help at least one person, and that's all these podcasts are for. Is, I said it's going to be raw, like we talked about. It's going to be raw.
Yes.
It's going to be let's sit down, have a cup of coffee, because I don't want people who happen to listen to think that it's pre-rehearsed or to think anything other than authentic. you
And
know?
I thank you for that because it you had to bring up some memories and emotions and things I had of my 25-year journey with John, and I can tell you it was definitely a learning experience for me, and as a mom, as a person, how you can love someone so much more than yourself that you put yourself aside to embrace them and develop them and encourage them to be the adults that they are. And I am so blessed that he is independent at home, showers himself, wash dishes. You know, he
Take
has limitations.
pictures.
Man, modeling, you say hit the runway, he says, where is it? And so now, you know, I'm teaching him photography, the
Yeah,
other side of modeling, because photography is all year round. And also, photography, you don't need a diploma, you don't need a degree, you just need the skill. And he does not have a diploma. He graduated, just went through the hours. And so I prayed about that too. I said, God, what can he do without a diploma? And it was a trade. And so it was actually a great thing because I created the autism perspective from him and to find out he has another talent. Not only is he a handsome guy who can kill the runway, he's very good with photography.
yeah,
He has an eye for art, and that came from my side of the family, which
yeah,
I'm blessed. And our job as parents is to find their purpose, which gives us ours.
yeah. Thank you for sharing that perspective with us. I love you. So before we close, I want to acknowledge the work that Tia does beyond her own family. She's the president of No Limits Foundation, where she advocates for inclusion, confidence, and opportunity for individuals with special needs. She's also a special needs model coach and a fashion show producer, creating space where people are seen, celebrated, and supported exactly as they are. And like she said, it's not just young kids that she does these modeling for, the fashion shows. My previous relationship, he had a disability. He had a stoma, so he spoke with a machine. He had throat cancer. And Miss Tia, he was also a bodybuilder. So Miss Tia threw him on that stage and had him doing his bodybuilding and gave him so much confidence because anybody who speaks with a stoma, I shouldn't say anybody, but a lot of people that speak with stomas do not, they would speak with their machines, don't like to be in the spotlight.
Correct. Because
And
people stare and people
uh-huh,
will understand, they sound funny
yep,
and those all those things. But I Terry had a lot more of just the stoma, the cancer. As cancer survivor, two-time cancer survivor, he has his own story and it
yeah,
needed to be told. And on the runway gave him a different platform.
yeah,
And also, remember, we gave him, he played a musical instrument that was also
yeah,
amazing.
man, yeah,
So that was also another part of who he was.
yeah,
So he was more than just his disability, he was a
yes,
person with other talents. And so,
yes,
how do you get people to see past the stoma? You
yeah,
know, and that's what the platform is there for, is to showcase what their blessings are, not what their limitations are.
yep. And you did it. You created a monster, just so you know. Um,
That's my purpose, is creating
you
answers
did
and everyone to see who they are inside and
exactly who they are. Yes,
cultivate the butterflies, you know, blossom on my stage. And you're a caterpillar right now, you're in your cocoon, you're not willing to show the world who you are, but Tia's gonna bring it out. And
yeah,
so I learned one thing in the corporate world, there's a thing called Gallup Strengths, and they ask you your top, you do this test and they tell you your top five. And when I saw my top five, everything in my life made sense.
yeah,
My first one is individualization. What does that mean? I have the ability to study people and bring out the best in them. And that's what I do on the runway. And I said, oh my goodness. And then, of course, I don't remember all five, but it was definitely, that was number one. And it just makes you wonder how all these tests define people and they're so accurate.
yeah. It's crazy.
And but that's how if you remember, Belinda, at the end of each show, I'll pair two models together to make them come out
Yes.
together because they have singular and then together. And
Yes.
some of them have never touched anybody else, not allowed to in school,
Yes.
or a particular group doesn't like to share the spotlight with the others.
Yes.
And I learned that through rehearsal,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's been an amazing, amazing journey to learn not just about autism, but with all disabilities that people have
Yeah.
that make them unique, awesome, and finding their purpose in life is brings me so much joy to bring it on stage for 2 hours for families to love, embrace, and know that their child is more than a label.
Mm-hmm. It's what you do. That's exactly what you do. They're more than a label. You can learn more about Miss Tia's work at nolimitsfoundation.org. So go ahead and hit her up, talk to her. No, it's
It's
different,
no limits inc
right?
dot org. No
Oh,
limits
oh, I did. I missed that.
foundation.
Girl,
Yes.
I missed it. I seen it, but I missed it. Okay.
Yes, no limits inc.org.
There you
Yes.
go. Thank you. Thank you for correcting me. I was
I'm so sorry to do
no,
that, but yes.
I'm glad you did because I'm giving them the wrong information.
Well, there's more than one no limits. I want to make sure to get the right one.
The right
So it's
one.
www.nolimitsfoundationinc.org.
Okay, got it. Thank you. If this conversation resonates with you as a parent, a caregiver, or someone learning to understand autism more deeply, know that support doesn't have to come with judgment or pressure. Through Anumi Hypnosis, I offer gentle hypnosis, meditations, and conversations designed to support emotional regulation, resilience, and inner steadiness during life's challenges. You can find free meditations on YouTube and more information at anumihypnosis.com. Take what's helpful and be gentle with yourself. Bye bye.